Hey guys, Clumsy here. Welcome back to Explain. It's been a while. How's everybody doing? Thanks for joining me in this stream. See a couple of folks already. How are you doing, Patrick? Glad you could join. Thanks, Jay. Communist Earth. Temporary name, I understand. No problem. Hey, Ross. What time is it there? It's 1 a.m. there, isn't it? Goodness. Hey, Hud. Downpouring in your part of the island. It has been pretty rainy recently, huh? I think we even had flash floods yesterday. It's pretty cloudy here. How are you, Ninja Squirrel? Thanks for joining. We are back and Explain after a long time. I missed it. To be perfectly honest, I wanted to delay this as much as possible because I wanted to get the rust off, do some offline flights before I get back into streaming or recording flight sim. Because if you don't keep up with the skills or lack thereof, or whatever little skill I have with flying, it dissipates quite quickly, and I haven't been able to fly as much as I wanted. Actually, I barely was able to fly, so I think we'll have to get rid of the rust as we go. So expect a bit of a bumpy ride, even more bumpy or bumpier than usual. Hey Sonoma, yeah, rusty bits. How are you? Yeah, long time since the last flight stream. I have a few new toys, a few new updates. One is mainly I now have XPRealistic. Finally, I took the plunge and bought it. There's actually a new version as well. Just came out the other day. Hey, thanks for the bits, Ninja Squirrel. Appreciate it. Came out of nowhere. Thank you. Never watched any Explain or flight sim before. It is very different. It is very technical and it can get very slow, especially if you're used to the action-packed streams. DOF Reality P3. What is that? So yeah, XPRealistic changes the motion. Maybe I can show it better. So it changes both the sounds and the looks of the sim in terms of the camera movements. So if, for example, I have the head anticipation, you can actually preview that here. And it is very framey right now because we are in London. Like 17 frames, yikes. And it is very heavy on this airport for some reason. My GPU is not getting taxed, it's only 43%, but I think it's the CPU. A single thread is being utilized and not much multi-threading happening. So those kinds of changes, like the G-forces, when you have flaps on, when you're taxiing, things like that. And it also has some nice sounds, more immersive sounds to put in. And previously I was hesitating to buy it because it was previously just a Lua script which cost you like 5 FPS. But now version 2 is out. It's now programmed fully in C++. Where are those guys going? And it's supposedly FPS performance impact free. I have not gone out still. I consulted this with Mrs. Clumsy, even though we are now in phase 2. We're still trying to stay in the house. We'll probably give it like 2 weeks just to be on the safe side. So we're still staying in the house at the moment. And then probably go to the gym only mid-July, so we can feel it out and see if the numbers spike up or something. For peace of mind. Full motion simulator, wow. First affordable full motion rig. Well, I guess I have to find the space for it first, huh? So aside from XPRealistic, we are now part of the British Airways airline. I found it. So we're a senior first officer now. And I tried applying and they accepted me. I think that was their big mistake. But we are now part of the British Airways fleet. And yeah, we're doing flights today from London to Valencia in Spain and back if we have time. Not sure how long it will take. But that's the plan. So it's a good opportunity for me to finally make use of that purchase I did in the beginning of the year. I purchased all the Orbix UK sceneries, so finally we can get a chance to see it. I have no idea. I think this is Heathrow, yes. Echo Golf Lima Lima. So let's start this plane up. Batteries, external power. Let's go ahead and start aligning the IRS. I might get some of the terminologies wrong, as I mentioned. Very, very rusty. I'm just using muscle memory here to remember the different buttons that I tick normally. Yeah, I think that looks good. Alright, starting to align. Over on this side. Oh, that's super slow. Let's turn those displays up. Looking good. It says Iris will be aligned in more than 7 minutes. Okay, perfect. That's just enough time for us to set the plane up. Get ready for our departure. Let's get the GPS coordinates here and let me start the initialization. We are departing from Echo Golf Lima Lima in Heathrow to Lima Echo Victor Charlie in Valencia. There you go. Now, do we have an alternate? I do have the chart here. I did save it. Look at that, only 20 FPS. My goodness. Yeah, this airport is heavy, and this is already with Vulkan. It's not the GPU that's the problem, it's the CPU. It's the number of objects getting loaded and the lack of multi-threading utilization. Alternate is Lima Echo Bravo Lima, wherever that is, somewhere in Spain most likely. Flight number is British Airways, yikes, 408, there it is, that one. You guys know, is it really Speedbird, the call sign for ATC, for British Airways, if anyone knows? Cost index is 18 right there. And we will be cruising at flight level 390 today, 39,000 feet. Alright, looks good. Let's get back here and check the GPS coordinates. I'll get back to chat in a bit, just finishing up this point. I see it moving in my periphery. 28.0. That's matching. Let's align that. Good. This is the only manual part in the Airbus A321, aligning the GPS. Everything else is like mostly automatic. Alright, there we are. It's back here. And let me get back. Oh, I closed it. Let me get back to chat. Yes, British Airways now, working for a new company. Before it was Cebu Pacific, then we moved to Philippine Airlines. And I think now British Airways, senior first officer. So still on the right seat, but getting there. First officer rust. Yes. How do I read that? Can I call you Manolo? Or Mela? How are you? Thank you for joining. Security took your frames at the gate and didn't give it back. Never watched plane games before. Ah, is there anything to expect? Expect a bumpy ride, maybe. That's the safest thing. Buckle up. Hold on tight. That's the best advice I can give. First, how are you, Scotsman? How's it been going? Doing more training recently. Yeah, let's go to the weight department. I did simulate a bit of a light aircraft today. Only 67 people on board, because I'm simulating a bit more of the social distancing norms, where I guess it would be like 1 seat apart, so only like half of the normal capacity, even less. So in terms of zero fuel weight, we have, let's see, I can move this here. Right, so let's maybe put in first. Number of people would be 67. That should be like so. Cargo would be 1.2 tons. I think I can do it like that. .2 that way, maybe 900 at the back, 300 kilos in the front. Not sure what the ideal center of gravity is, but I think 29% is okay. 55.7, that looks good. You see the weight of the plane changing as the plane changes a bit. The suspension kicks in. Fuel should be 8.6 tons, so we set that up. Quick refuel, defuel. That should look good. And if we double check in the fuel on board, 8.6 tons exactly. Ooh, look at that. Perfect timing. How are you, Rianus? Time to explain. Hey, Tadius. Thank you guys for joining our flight experts. Time to explain. Oh, I will be pretty embarrassed today. I'm a bit rusty. Haven't flown in a bit. How have your flights been, Rianus? Started flying again? So for those who are new to the community, Arianus is a real, how do you say, bus pilot. Right, so we have 55.7. CG is, oh, what was that? I closed it. 29.3. Hey, Axelad, thank you for following. Thanks for joining. Appreciate that. How are you? Are you also a flight sim enthusiast? Probably know more than I do. It's okay. We'll figure things out together. 8.6, that looks good. It starts adjusting and computing stuff. Now let's go and plot in the route. Oh, that's a long route. Just woke up after your shift. How to celebrate the return to the skies? Join in X-Plane. Nice. How did it feel when you finally got back on the skies? You had to, I guess, do a couple of, how do you call it? Landings and takeoffs in the simulator first, huh? I think last time I talked to you, you were doing that and you were preparing for the real flight. So we will be departing from via runway 09 left. No SID, so we'll be able to test the if you look here, 09 left, and it's direct, so no SID, and that looks good. Instead, we'll go directly to max it. Let's plot that in, and then from here we join the Yankee 803 airway to mid, and then Lima 151. I'm just going through the what's listed here. Sitet, when 859. Oh, so long. Balan to L152. Macox. Get back to chat in a bit. Just keeping the momentum going. From November 860. Aneto. Direct. Okay, let's insert that. So Aneto, and then direct to Posse. Direct to Rokme. Direct to Xerox. Oh my goodness, how long is this flight? Why is there so many waypoints? And then another airway. From November 860 again? We were in 860 already before. Why would we have to leave it? Maybe it's a shortcut. Sora. And then from there, we finally join the Sora 4 Charlie arrival. Runway 30. So ILS 30. Sora 4. So many. 4 Charlie. Novaya. Let's have a look at pilot to ATC. What it's guiding us. Mulat is what it's telling us. Okay, good. We'll brief all of that later. For now, just trust me that it works. No discontinuation. We'll double check later, and I'll also plug in the alternate in case we need to deviate. Runway 30. Sopet 5 Alpha, that's this one here, the alternate route. And sorry guys, I'm not responding. Just give me a few more seconds. Should be with you shortly. Uniform November 608. Might be doing something terribly wrong already, but we'll adjust it later as I go back to chat. Matex, and then from there join the Matex to November arrival to runway 02. Matex to November, that's the one. I don't know what the VIA should be, but hopefully we won't need this alternate flight plan. I just like practicing plugging that in. Alright, looks good. I'll get back now. Refresher in simulator. You're mostly into truck sim. Yeah, me too. Just like to mix it up every now and then. Was flying the A319 today. Almost forgot how to do it. Oh yeah, how is AH2? Air Hauler 2. I still haven't purchased it because it's pretty pricey, but sounds very interesting. I see Oxylad, thanks for dropping by. Wow, I am much slower today. Usually by the time, so that's usually my indicator when the IRS starts aligning 7 minutes. Usually I would finish all the preps by the time the IRS is aligned. This time though, I'm still only in the flight plan. I can blame that long flight plan for it, but still much slower today. First, let me get back to chat. Cockpit is real and you get some motion sickness as a bonus. Nice. Oh goodness, I can only imagine how immersive it is. Descent path marker. I think they did. They changed some colors. I think they updated both the MCDU and the ND maybe. Oh, how do you call it in Airbus? I'm mixing my terminologies. Backseat gaming. That's usually when you like tell the streamer do this, do that, do this, do that. You know, like backseat driving, but for streaming. Talking gibberish. No worries. We'll once we fly, we'll all be on the same page, hopefully. Spy code in wartime. Ultra low latency. Which one? H2 is nice if you want virtual airline but don't like other people. AI pilots are great. I might purchase it when it goes on sale. I like the management side of it, and that I can fly both an airliner and a GA plane and still progress. Simulating the real life. Well, in terms of the number of passengers in the plane, we're simulating that, so we only have 67 people on board. But in terms of the number of planes, I cannot simulate it quite well because this is depending on one of the plugins. So you can see we still have a full airport here. There's even a Singapore Airlines there. Cathay Pacific, Alitalia, some even bankrupt airlines still here. I saw a Thomas Cook a while ago. So yeah, still full, but we're simulating it as best as we can. Alright, so that looks good. Route is okay. Now let me plug in the wind information. Normally you would be able to just do this wind request and it would get the weather, but because I have active sky, that's not really compatible. So I have to manually plug things in. So we'll try to be as quick as possible here. So we have the wind information thanks to SimBrief. So here we just plug everything in. 209 to 29 knots at flight level 350. 21229. Thank goodness you can use the keyboard at least so it won't be that long. 212 29 310, 210 25 200, 188 14 150, and 164 15 100. Alright, that looks good. Next phase, cruise wind. We can go until this point, 212 at 22. It's flight level 390. And then we have many other waypoints where we can plug in 215.020 knots. Sorap. Oh, looks like this will be a long flight, huh? I remember telling Pilot to 8 Clumsy Pilot's Life I only wanted short flights. Why is it giving me this one? 21318. Hang in there, guys. If you're not sure what I'm doing, just trust me. 206. This should be remotely correct. I think enough, at least enough to get on the air. Oh my goodness, this is a long flight. Should have checked that beforehand. We might have to fast forward a bit here. Do a bit of time acceleration. I think I plugged that in a bit wrong. This won't be that important, I think, to plug all of these in. So many. But let's do it for the sake of completeness. There are minor variations in the wind. It's not that significant. 2921 looks good. Alright, I think we're good there. And then the descent winds, I'll plug that in later. Alright, that should be good. Let's go to performance. We get back to chat. It's as complicated as you want it, or expensive. Yes. AV, how are you? Thanks for joining. Didn't know SQ flew to London though. It should reflect real life flight plans, but I don't know, maybe it's a bit outdated. Yeah, I started learning about X-Plane last year, I think. And depending on how interested you are, it can be quite exhilarating. Okay, let's go and use flaps 1. V speeds 143, 143, and V2 146. So this means we start rotating, start pulling on the stick, and taking off at 143 knots. Flaps 1. And the stabilizer trim down 0.5. Now since the weather is good, we can go and use flex temp to 42 degrees, and that looks okay. And I think we're done there. Finally. Did I miss anything? I hope not. Let me double check. Perf. I think that's good. Alright, let's go ahead and turn on the fuel pumps. And let's request for clearance, IFR clearance. One sec, huh? Let's see. Delivery is 121.97. Let me go ahead and set the second one. Does that work? Doesn't. Yeah, let's turn off this one, this COM one, so we can focus on this second, this one on the right, radios. 121.97 was it? Of course I forgot. 121.97 and 121.90. Alright. 121.97, 121.90. And then later, I let the pilot monitoring, this guy on the left, supposedly the captain, to take care of the communications, so I can focus more on flying. Clearance, okay, that looks good.
Hello, 40 Fox, start up and push back a beam, Charlie 11 is approved.
3 popular sims out there. Yeah, if you are planning to get into flight sim, you can either wait for a Steam sale and try out X-Plane. I highly recommend it, though there's one planer landing there. Or wait for Flight Sim 2020, which should be coming out this year, I believe. Nice, what airline is that? Delta. Nice. Came from somewhere in the US, I guess. Looking good. Let's go and start the APU. Let's also go and see how we can push back out of here. Should be pushing back facing west. That is facing to our right. So let's go and plan that. There's a plane right there. You see it?
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go.
So facing somewhere like this. It's a very sharp turn. I wonder if the pushback guy can take care of that. Well, we'll trust his skills.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Alpha testers aren't that convinced. Ah, a lot missing. Well, I guess they have the graphics locked down, but the controls, the physics, the realism. Oh, yikes! Rip. Yeah. $25 is on the colder side. Oh, you said it. What temperature do we have currently here, HUD? It is a bit colder than usual, interestingly enough. Start the APU. Should start hearing it in the background. Let's go ahead and request. Let's go and say, where is my push to talk key?
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
Delta 256, hold short of Alpha 1. Holding short of 13.
Speedbird 408, ready to copy. Ah, I didn't even get me. Didn't even understand me. Speedbird 408, ready to copy, IFR clearance. Oh, last try. Delivery, Speedbird 408, ready to copy.
Speedbird 408 is cleared to Lima Echo Victor Charlie as filed. Expect departure runway 09 left. climb and maintain
So
4,000
connected
feet.
and bypass pin
Expect higher
inserted.
clearances
Release
2 minutes
parking
after
brake.
departure. Squawk 3515.
Let's let our
Speedbird
Captain.
408 is cleared to Lima Echo
Read
Victor
that
Charlie
back.
as filed. Climb and maintain 4,000 feet. Expect higher clearances 2 minutes after departure. Squawk 3515.
3515.
Speedbird 408 read back correct. QNH is 1022. Let us know when you're ready for pushback.
QNH is 1022. Speedbird 408.
Explains in your wish list. You're waiting for a sale. Yeah, I bought this first time when it went on a Steam sale. There should be a summer Steam sale coming soon, so maybe it will be on sale again.
Okay, after the 737 goes by, then I continue to gate Delta 256.
Yeah, not many good airliners in X-Plane. I think at least not the bigger ones, the wide body ones. The narrow body ones, I think you have very nice ones. Either 737 or the A320 family have lots of options. Right? No constraints because we have no SID. Okay, I think we are good. APU is available, supposedly. Yes, it is. Let's go ahead and start APU bleed. Turn off external power. We still have power, that's good. Alright, looking great. Speedbird 408 ready for pushback and engine start request.
Speedbird 408 pushback and engine start approved.
Pushback and engine start approved. Speedbird 408. Alright, let's turn on the beacon to signal that we are about to move to anyone who's outside. And let's let go of the parking brake.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Okay, continue as number one.
You moving? We are moving. There we are. Let's go ahead and start engine 1. I think engine 1 is what you supposedly should start first, since this is involved with the no steering, hydraulics and stuff like that. N2 rising, pressure increasing. You can start hearing the engine in the background starting to spool up bit by bit. We have N1 rising. Air Baltic. Ooh, yeah, there we go. Engine 1 is good. Start engine 2 and hear that barking dog. It should be the hydraulics, the PTU getting tested. Looking good. Where are we supposed to go? Am I headed the right way? Yes, I am. Okay. So I'm expecting we should be taking either the Bravo or Alpha taxiway onto 09 left. And I'm not sure if they'll ask us to go to Alpha 12 or Alpha 13. But I guess 13 would be safer, so that we can get the full length of the runway, even though we might not need it being this light. There we go. We have switched, so if we look at the electrical systems, we are now using the engine generators. These engines are fully started, and that means we can get rid of.
Set parking brake.
We can turn off the APU. Parking brake is set.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Tower, 19.2. 1923,
Trying to catch up with chat. Very interesting discussions. Forecasts are quite useless in the tropics. Oh, that's very true. As good as anyone's guess. Covers the EU market only, plus Israel, Russia, and UAE. Pushback looks good. Good job. 09 left is 090. Heading 090. I like it. See that subtle bouncing? That subtle movement in the cab? The flight deck, or however you call it.
Toliss
Mixing all these
disconnected. The flight
terminologies
path pin
now.
has been removed. Hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
That's thanks to XPRealistic.
Fire Whiskey 5, to cross 18 center, cross share 8372. 8372, correct.
You have other planes as well.
Delta, Alpha North, and then
Does Air Baltic mostly have Airbuses in its and no Boeing planes? There's the guy holding the bypass pin, so we should be good. Ground Speedbird 408 ready to taxi.
Speedbird 408 taxi to runway 09 left via taxiways Bravo, India, Alpha, hold short runway 09 left.
Taxi to runway 09 left via taxiways Bravo India Alpha, hold short runway 09 left, Speedbird 408.
You guys see an India taxiway? Bravo India Alpha. I guess it mistook one of these taxiways as India, but I'll just take that straight up and then turn right at the end. Basically, let's keep it simple. Okay. Auto brake max. Signal the cabin crew. Alright, looking good. We can turn off the ignition. Flaps 1. You should see that moving right here. Very nice. Takeoff config check. Everything's good. No blue, all green. Should be good for takeoff. Alright. So this is Bravo. Yeah, we are on Bravo right now. See that black background with the yellow font. After Corona, you're all A220. Oh, I see. I hear that cabin shake. That's part of XPRealistic. I really like it. So immersive. Very subtle movements. Hey Tap, welcome to the stream. This is actually default airport, but it's quite nice. I'm pretty lazy when it comes to downloading separate airports. Stay in the middle here. Look how laggy that is, goodness. Maybe should have turned on some of the lights. Okay. Thrust to idle. Going too fast. Beautiful. Too bad we don't have clouds, because I have the cloud art plugin. It improves the cloud visuals by a ton. It's the best 2D clouds I've seen. Yeah, looks like pretty clear weather today, which is a very rare occurrence as I understand here in London. Love the Airbus cockpits. Wow. Are you building it in real life, in 3D?
After crossing Delta, and you use Bravo to enter
Start. Let's turn on the weather radar.
After crossing Delta,
Probably won't need it right now, but just in case. Start slowing down here. We're flying to Spain, to Valencia. Emergency exit lights I forgot to turn on. Looks like that's what that color was. And I turned it there a bit fast, I think. 3 hours could you... well, we can always accelerate time. Yeah, I think it will normally be a long flight. So this line right here is the hold short line for ILS approach, but since we have good weather, I should be able to stop right here, I think. Strangely enough, I haven't been asked to switch to tower frequency. Ground speed bird 8. I even forget my call sign. Ground Speedbird 408, request frequency change to tower.
Speedbird 408, contact Heathrow Tower on 118.5. Enjoy your morning.
Tower on 118.5, Speedbird 408.
72 at Alpha 12, give way to Transavia joining in. Roger, Alpha 12, give way to Transavia, Magna 370.
Now the problem right now with Vulcan and the traffic plugin I'm using, Traffic Global, is it does not have any TCAS visibility. So basically my plane, my ATC, the air traffic control, is not seeing all those planes. So it might clear me for takeoff even if there's a plane right here on short final and landing. So we'll have to rely on our own here because it will always just clear us. I think that's a work in progress thing with this beta version. Tower Speedbird 408, ready for departure, runway 09 left.
Speedbird 408, winds are 090 at 6 knots, cleared for takeoff. Runway 09 left, maintain runway heading until above 1,100 feet, then turn right heading to 25 to intercept course.
Wow, that's a lot.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 09 left, maintain runway heading until above 1,100 feet, then right to 225, Speedbird 408.
So it said we had to maintain runway heading 090 until 1,100 feet, so we moved that, there you go, put that to 090. Is that how we do it? I think so. And then up to 1,100, and then we turn right to heading 225. Okay, let me see if I can remember all of that. Bit by bit. iOS 14. How does it look? I saw a few screenshots in the articles that came out, but I have not been able to study it. Yeah. Widgets. Doesn't sound very new, but at least iOS is getting them now. Clear on the left. Clear on the right. Look very closely at the shaking once we start accelerating. That's going to be thanks to XPRealistic as well. We do have perfect headwind here, 090 winds, so should not need any other adjustments except my... Oh, that's super sensitive. Let's do this. Push on the stick, forward pressure. Right, looks good. Flex temp. That's very framey, my goodness. Look at the shaking though. Love that. 80 knots. Let go of the forward pressure on the stick. That is beautiful. Do I see a plane in front of me? V1. Rotate. Why is that plane stuck there? Positive rate, gear up. So we climb runway heading 090 until 1,100 feet, and then we turn right to 225. Switch autopilot here, AP2, and then 225. River climb. Why is it not turning? I think I have to pull on it. There we go. That's the missing piece. So it does work now. There was a bug before with this plane where if you were doing the runway heading thing, it was getting confused. Oh, look at how beautiful that is. My goodness.
Speedbird 408 climb and maintain flight level 130. Speedbird 408 contact Heathrow radar director on 120.4. Have a good one.
Radar director on 120.4 Speedbird 408.
Flaps up. 120.4. Sorry guys, I know I've been lagging in the chat again. So much workload. Let's go and disarm the speed brakes. Speedbird 408, climbing to flight level 130.
Speedbird 408, good morning. Radar contact.
Where are we supposed to go? Should we be joining? Because that seems to be... Okay, I guess... do that. There we go. So we are intercepting the waypoints, the flight plan that we had, and now we're joining it. Okay, that looks like the missing piece that I got. Looks good. Hope I didn't miss anything. Now I can get back to chat. Takes off with 2 FPS. I know, right? My goodness, that looks so good. This is Orbix sceneries. I know Flight Sim 2020, we're praising it a lot. It looks good, but X-Plane is no pushover as long as you have the right plugins. Look at how beautiful that is in the huge airport right there. Thanks, V. 6,000 Clumsy credits. Good job. Guys, welcome to the channel. Beautiful, and it's not that... I mean, we still have a bit of fog at this level. Is that the plane? It is. British Airways as well. No, my bad. It is Emirates. Where is it headed? I'm not sure. We can check that for sure. It's an A380 though, isn't it? That looks to be an A380. Emirates are very fond of their A380s. Until now though, I think, wasn't there some news about A380s? Beautiful, look at that. Could be flash flooding in Jurong West. It's scorching hot in time. Yeah, I wonder why. It's very strange, huh?
Speedbird 408 climb and maintain flight level 230.
Very independent. Flight level 230, Speedbird 408. They love their A380s.
Speedbird
Yeah.
408,
Hey, Da.
contact London Control on
How are you?
118.47. Enjoy your morning.
Center on 118.47. Speedbird 408. Does that sound? Turbulence? Yeah, looks like. Turn off the lights. Oh yeah, that's a bit bumpy. Seatbelt signs can go off. Center Speedbird 408 climbing to flight level 230.
Speedbird 408, good morning. Radar contact.
Kenya 191
Why do you have a fleet of A380s? Because we can. I have not yet. That's one of my dreams, flying first class or even business class. My company used to fly in business class, and then when they came in was during the recession, so they had to cut back on expenses, and they removed that rule. So now we always fly economy. Felt humidity directly. Yikes. Alright, Ross. Have a good one, man. Thanks for hanging out with us. Alright, Thaddeus. Have a good one. Thanks for joining. Made it in time for the takeoff at least. We managed to take off an hour after the stream. But that was a fairly smooth takeoff. I think we did that okay. Oh, I love this. I love the cabin movements. As you're turning like this, it's very natural. Turn off track IR. And look at the head movements. Very, very natural. Love it. And that merges perfectly well with X camera, with track IR, and all the other plugins. Let's get rid of that. Let's go and look for Victor Charlie, was it? Valencia, yes. Joining the Saura 4 Charlie arrival. Where is it? Saura 4 Charlie. Saura 4 Delta, Saura 4 Charlie. This one. A220. You think anyone would model in A220 in X-Plane or any other sim? Because it has a very different philosophy, right? It's not originally Airbus. What was it? Bombardier or something? And then Airbus bought it?
Speedbird 408, climb and maintain flight level 330.
Flight level 330. Speedbird 408. Locals hate it as much as you do. Oh, that's true. Never get used to it. It's never a pleasant experience. Wow, it is a pretty long trip. "74 days till you go to college." Nice. How are things there? Do you have like face-to-face classes now? And back to normal basically? Let's have a look at the chart here. So if you look at the timings, there should be a timings page here. That one. So it should be 2 hours 23 minutes block time. I think that's everything. Out, off, on, in. Something along those lines. So this might just be exact for one flight. Let's see. Valencia. And In Spanish, it's pronounced as but yes, not in. Ah, I see. Wow. And for sure, you know more stuff again. That's cool. Amazing trivia. So the locals in Valencia call it Valencia, but the other Spanish folks call it Valencia. Nursery and year 6 kids. I don't quite get the logic there. Why do we? Because I think it's the same here. Why is it a priority for the younger ones to go physically? Aren't they more in danger? Is there maybe something lacking in the virtual thing that cannot be replicated in the physical face-to-face classes? Spain has different local languages other than Spanish. Ah, interesting. On recuperating, were you sick? You're feeling better. Let's go and get that beautiful view. I think that one can work. Last year it was Bangkok, here before New York, here before was Singapore. Nice. Been to many places, huh? A bike ride, I see. They're less susceptible? How come? That's good to hear, but I didn't know that.
Speedbird 408 contact Paris Center on 119.82. Good day.
119.82 Speedbird 408. Center, good morning. Speedbird 408. Climbing to flight level 330.
Speedbird 408, good morning. Radar contact.
Yeah, there is so much you can do when at home, as long as you don't get distracted. It's very productive. Oh man, too bad I don't have any ortho photos in the French region, so looks like we'll be getting some generic textures there, but I do have what is that, SFD Global short final design, so we should have better textures than default at least. Latvia now, but you are, how do you read that? Eilat, Israel born and raised. I didn't know that. Good to know. You're French, but you live in London. Cool. How are you finding it? You like it there better? Right, have a good night.
Speedbird 408 climb and maintain flight
Thanks
level
for hanging
390.
Flight level 390, Speedbird 408. Interestingly enough, even at this point, they still get a bit of lag. Those must be the ortho photos. Let's get some XPRealistic movements in here. Subtle shaking. 2/3 of your life is spent in London. Ah, I see. Ooh, look at that. Been there since 2010. Translate that for me. And I won't even try to read that. It's a futile effort. If there are any planes nearby, we can go and check like the radar. The closest one to us is like what? Around 40 miles away. There's a Ryanair. Some Thomas Cook Airlines, yeah. Yeah, nothing nearby. Definitely nothing we can see. He was born in France. Ah, I see. Wow. Linguistics. Do you have a course you want to take when you get to college? English, please. Yes. A1. Welcome. See some cities coming up. Not sure what these are. Can go and check in the map. Study language in college. Nice. Oh, that's Le Havre. I remember that from ETS too. These look pretty familiar. Must be a long trip. Let's do some checks here. Just scan through all of them. Cabin pressure looks okay. Cabin altitude is 7,500 and rising little by little. We have full pressure here. Vertical speed of the cabin altitude is rising 140 feet per minute. Looks good. We're currently at 37,000 feet above. So that looks pretty good. So we are 37,000 feet above, but inside the cabin, it only feels like in terms of pressure, the altitude rather, we are at 7,600, which is good. Because higher than that, it'd be hard to breathe, I guess. Electrical systems, everything green. Batteries 28 volts. Being powered by generator 1 and 2. Looks good there. Hydraulics, everything, all the green. I do have failures off because as I mentioned, very rusty. So don't think I'm ready for random failures just yet. Fuel, left and right side. Almost even. Fuel on board. Looks okay. APU is off. Air conditioning 22 degrees inside. Looks good. All doors are closed. It's good to know. We have a lot of oxygen, 1200 psi. Wheels, nothing happening. Flight controls. Ah, that's one thing I forgot. Yes. During takeoff, I should have set the trim. Remember, we set the down 0.5? I should have set that. So that's something I forgot. Your shekel speaks to me. That's the currency. Money talks, basically. A Jewish joke. Ah, there you go. Oh, French. Find that language so hard to understand. Well, so hard to try and even understand. No context clues at all. There we go. Finally reached cruising altitude. Now, one thing we could do to speed things up is we could leverage the function of Toliss to move to next waypoints. And that way, you can go and get faster, arrive at your destination faster. Seven years. Wow. Okay. What made you choose French? And what are you... How are you learning it? Do you use an app? Are you enrolled in a class? Here we are. That's where we're going. Valencia. When you were in France, it was no problem holding conversations. Wow, so cool. Do you know if you have like a Singaporean accent while speaking French? Is that possible? Hey, thanks for following. And for everyone who followed, thank you guys. Sorry, I was a bit busy. The workload does get a bit intense in the beginning of the flight, beginning and end of the flight. €1, 3.5 Israeli shekel. Thanks to COVID. Yikes. How was it before? Pre-COVID. Apps, classes, and YouTube. Did you ever use the app Duolingo? I heard that's one of the famous language learning apps. Why do we have no clouds at all? That's a bit of a party pooper. Would have wanted to show off the beautiful clouds. Maybe later I'll get something. Been learning it since you were young. Ah, I see. Nice. Even if you look completely Chinese. People must get surprised when they hear you speak. 3 to 3.2 shekels. Do you still go home occasionally, Rianus? Or is Latvia now what you consider home? Let's turn on the airports here. Other friends who started later have a Singaporean accent. I see. I think it's the same everywhere, Oxylad. Doctors have this. We have an expression in Filipino about it, but roughly it translates to like the chicken clawing at the ground. That's how chaotic it looks, the writing. That's why they're changing to typing on a computer nowadays. As long as they get the spelling right, should be fairly safe. Okay, let's study a bit the approach that we are going to take. Let me load up the charts. Approach plates, ILS runway 30. And load up the airport as well. Saura at or above flight level 100. Any other restrictions? Saura for Charlie, that's this one. So we're coming through here. 176 degrees to Mulat. And then the airport is right here, Valencia. So from there, yeah, exactly, Mulat. And if we look at the approach, earlier we plotted that in. Mulat is where we're starting from, so we turn right 296 degrees. From there it's straight on. Final approach course 296. Decision altitude is, let's have a look at the minimums. 440 degrees for us. I think we are, what do you call it, Class C. 440 feet rather, not degrees. Final approach fix is... This is the final approach fix, 2,500? 2,200. Usually there's an X here to signify the final approach fix. I don't see it here, but I guess that's this one, 2,200. What subjects did I like in school? Well, I'm a bit of a nerd. I really like math. Science a bit, but I hated biology. I hated all the memorization that you needed to do. I suck at memorization, hence the goldfish memory. But I enjoyed math because you didn't need to memorize so much stuff. You just needed to understand the principles and apply them. So I was very proud of my math skills before, during my time in school. I enjoyed it very much. Winter in Latvia is hard. From -10 to -20 when you can have 20 degrees back at home. Nice. Hey Mermi. Growing up in England, it's impossible to read anything there. So it's common. Duolingo, finished the course within the first year. Ah, nice. That's good to hear. And it's free, right? Duolingo is free, just have ads. The guy behind Duolingo is the same guy behind CAPTCHA, the CEO. I listened to a podcast where he was getting interviewed. Oh yikes, turbulence. Let's turn on the seatbelt signs.
Correct 678, coming 121.440, flying. 121.440, correct 678, good day.
I like math, got rid of biology last year as soon as you could. Five days on schedule, 4 days free. I think that's common in pilots, isn't it? My pilot friends from the Philippines have something similar. Like they would have like 1 week or 2 weeks, they have flights, and then they're on break for the next week or so. Having to decipher there, but they're actually very good, right? The pharmacists are very good at reading all this doctor writing. Unbelievable. I guess they have context clues because they know already the name of the medicine. So if they see like a tail here,
408
a mark
contact
here,
Paris Center on 125.7, have a good morning.
they would already know what it is. Say again, Speedbird 408.
Speedbird 408 contact Paris Center on 125.7, have a good morning.
Center on 125.7. Good morning. Speedbird 408. 25.47. Did I get it right? No. I read it but I didn't understand it. Bad. There you go. Center, good morning. Speedbird 408 at flight level 390.
Speedbird 408, good morning. Radar contact.
Using it since 2014, used to have like no ads at all. Nice. I tried Tagalog once the course comes out. Don't have Malay, only Indonesian. Are they different? Like, aren't they almost similar? I guess if you're not familiar with the language, they almost sound alike. Even the words. Did like 4 classes. Yeah, welcome back, Oxalad. Yeah, in the beginning of my college days, first 2 years, I think we had math classes, integrals and stuff. I really liked it. The professor had to, so we had like a blackboard, 4 panels of the blackboard, 6 panels I think, and the professor would start writing in the start of the class, and then eventually they would reach the end of the blackboard, would fill everything up, and they would have to erase the first panel. So it got so full they had to erase some of the stuff within the same class. And they always used to talk, you had to like have an extra pen with you, because if you drop your pen, by the time you pick it up, you would be late to taking notes. So you'd have to be really on your toes. But I was proud of my college days because we had a math class, and I remember this in our university. We had what they call the LOTR, and normally you would attribute that to Lord of the Rings, but here it would stand for like the 4 horsemen, because LOTR is like an acronym for the 4 terror professors. It stood for their surnames, I think, but I forgot what they are anymore. But I'm sure I was in that class with the R, the professor starting with the R name. So I was in a class there, and usually when people would know, so at the beginning of the term, you would know what your class is, you would know who your professor is. By the time they see that it's one of those 4 horsemen, the LOTR, they would immediately drop the class and take another one because it's going to be one heck of a class. But I stuck with it, and I was able to get a pretty nice grade, I think. And I didn't find anything wrong with the professor. Like, they say he's a terror, but he's not really. He's just serious and straight to the point. So if you are able to, if you listen, and if you take the time to listen, then it's going to be worth your while. I see a plane. I see a contrail, to be more exact. There he is. Can you guys read it? It's moving too fast for me. And yes, air traffic control has no visibility. So many planes. Yeah, we don't have visibility on TCAS anywhere. Should turn off the timer here. The classes were fun, actually. I liked it very much. I learned a lot, although for sure I've forgotten all of them already because they're not really practical. They're math, but not practical in my... I'm not a scientist, so I don't have any use for them. But during that time, learning it for the sake of learning and for the sake of like exercising your brain to work with these details, they were very interesting. And he taught very nice, in a very nice way. I see the lights, the nav lights. the plane at least. And so they were very good, in my opinion. He was a very good teacher. Pretty similar, but there are many differences. People say Salamat Siam for good afternoon. Salamat Tengahari in Mali. Ah, okay. I see. I guess they can understand each other, but there's still differences. In Tagalog, hello is... actually don't know. Hello. We don't normally say hello in Tagalog. Because even in phones, when we answer something, we would just say hello. But if you're greeting somebody, salamat is actually thank you. So I find it a bit weird because you see a lot of salamats here, right, in Malay, and it's a different definition. But salamat in Tagalog is thank you. But for hello, I am not sure. Some people say mabuhay, but mabuhay is like live, to live, long live. But we don't normally use that in like day-to-day stuff. If you call someone and tell them mabuhay, it's like mabuhay is only used for like beauty pageants and for welcoming tourists. Universities, it depends on the prof, usually somewhere in the middle, but mostly officially English, but it's not really like enforced, so depends on the professors. Wow, seatbelts. Depends on the professor's strategy or preference. Salamat literally means safe. Ah, okay, I see. Very different, huh? If you're not at the end of the base, you have an airport hotel room reserved. If you are in the base, then you are at home. Ah, I see. Nice. So that's why. So you must have... How does the booking work? Do you have to book yourselves? Or does the airline book for you? Because if you had to book yourself, then I guess you can have much more points with the hotel. My goodness, absolutely zero clouds. Is this real? I mean, I am using live weather here. First time I've seen the weather this clear. My goodness. Salamat pagi is good morning. Safe morning. Ah, I see.
Speedbird 408 contact Bordeaux Center on 130.9er. Enjoy your morning.
130.9er. Speedbird 408. Good morning. Niner. Center, good morning. Speedbird 408 at flight level 390.
Speedbird 408, good morning. Radar contact.
For my business trips, we book it ourselves. So we have this system of booking, but you basically book under your name, and there's like a travel agency in between. So they take care of the detailed stuff, but you still book your own flight, you choose your own schedule, you book your own hotel, and they just are the intermediaries. So I get to have those points under my name. But I don't really travel that much, maybe once, twice a year, and now with COVID, definitely not. So I don't get that many points. There are some people though, depending on your role, like they travel every month, every few weeks, and those guys have tons of points, I can imagine. Yeah, and for us, we have a corporate credit card, so we charge everything there. So we don't have to shell out any money if we can charge it to the card. But I think I mentioned it last time. Our corporate card is Amex, which is not very famous in Europe. I guess that's an understatement. So normally when you're in Europe, you can hardly use your card anyway, so you would have to shell out cash and just have to reimburse it afterwards. They have a long reservation contract with the hotel. Ah, I see. That's pretty hassle-free. Yeah, I can imagine if you do that on a daily or weekly basis, it would get very tiring having to book each time. Looks like my browser gave out on me again. Can't see it anymore. We do something. Custom browser docs.
Good afternoon, Computer Turkish 49er Romeo Heavy Flight Level 380.
There you go, that should work. Right, I see myself again. That should be okay. Hong Kongers all know English, so even though there's a Cantonese word for sorry. Right, yes, and especially in the Philippines, because English is widely adopted. It's like the formal language. So when you're speaking in a formal occasion, English is the normal language to use. It's the norm, even though it's not really mandated. But somehow there is this impression that when you speak in English, you have a higher education, something along those lines. So some people really try to speak in English, which is a bit sad but understandable as well. I'm an IT consultant. Yeah. And it's goodness, I really need to go on vacation. It's very hectic. I guess with the situation we have, it's like, how do you say, this routine when you're stuck at home. And even though we can go out already, it's still very, I'd say, restrictive in a way. Wow! No clouds, but very strong turbulence. But yeah, after a while you really need to recharge. And I have not recharged in a while, so I'm starting to burn out. So I really need to schedule a vacation. I tried, but due to the workload, having a bit of difficulty finding a proper time, getting pushed back on my planned leaves, so no clear date there yet. It's a bit frustrating, but this. Yeah. Recently there has been more of a thrust with that. I think it's a bit of a phase. When a country learns this language, it's like the priority, and then it goes down at some point. I think we're at that point now where English is good and everything, but doesn't have to be the end all be all. But I'm not sure. I don't think there is a huge thrust for that. I think we have plenty of other things that we need to worry about. Not at the top of the list. Yeah. March into the hotel in your uniform. Show me my room. That's how the airport looks like. A fairly small airport. Well, single runway, but 10,000 feet. That should be okay. Fairly safe to land there. Low auto brakes should be more than enough. In terms of weather, 290 at 3 knots. Very nice headwind. Minimal wind speeds. Should be okay. 30 is where we're landing. Pretty straightforward, nothing fancy. You can learn English well without ignoring the local ones too. Yeah, I guess it's a bit of like, how do you say, when you learn something or when you get something new, when you acquire something, whether that's a skill and possession, you are very proud of it, so you tend to flaunt it more, and that kind of leaves the other things you have or you know a bit in the back seat. If you get what I mean. So I guess that's the general behavior towards it. Okay, we're starting to get wisps of clouds now. Finally. Turn off the seatbelt signs. After 3 years, yes, at some level. A2 proficiency. Everyone speaks English or Russian. Ah, do they? I see. Don't really have to worry about development that much. Yeah, that's true. It's a good problem to have. Not very good for the speeds that we have right now, huh? 16 knot headwind. Well, I guess almost 16 knots.
Speedbird 408 contact Bordeaux Center on 124.05. Have a good morning.
124.05. Good morning, Speedbird 408. Center, good morning. Speedbird 408 at flight level 390.
Speedbird 408, good morning. Radar contact.
Welcome back. You get a new color in your name? Messages aren't showing in my screen. It's frozen. I hate that. Yeah, that happened probably when things refreshed and something. It happens sometimes. And I don't know how to bring it back. I think what I can do is I can probably change the URL. Do it that way. And then I can bring that back. Let's try if it will refresh itself or something. Don't think it's appearing. One sec. Let me try something. Refresh browser when scene becomes active. Let's try that. Okay, try again. You changed it. Okay. It's not just my imagination. Looks like there's a plane coming right across us. You guys see it? Who's that guy? There he is. Nice. Even has some contrails and everything. Oh, this is a nice view. Sure thing, Arianas. What did you find? Still not working? The French countryside. Yeah, looks like it. Look at the map. Where are we? Yes. Should be. Red nose. Ah, for sure you recognize it. It's a Norwegian. Still not showing up. Okay. Yeah, it's broken. Yikes. I wonder why. Let me have a look. Maybe I can find something. I go to Streamlabs, yes, I saw people using that. It is very tempting. You remember how much it is? Streamlabs, the website looks very different now. Can't even find where chat box, there it is. Okay, let's see if I plug that in here, if it will work. No, I think that's the same one. I think it's the browser source in OBS that's crashed or something. I saw that, it looked very interesting. More things to do in the flight. I think it's quite similar to... What was that? We had a plugin like that before. That like virtual airline with its own app and everything. Very promising. 23 SGD, oh that's not bad. I might actually try it. Thanks. It's very good for airliners. Yes, plugins are just like mods. Just called differently. Usually I would get confused with like plugins list or mods list. On the long flights. Well, pilots I think get the same... Actually, yeah, do you get the same food as the ones served on the flight? I remember it has to be different, like the pilot and the co-pilot have to have different meals for safety. Can't eat the same thing. Yes, just mods would be the same. And then there's an explain tab in there. You should start seeing good scenery some point though, because I remember getting ortho photos way back for Barcelona maybe, or Valencia, somewhere around this region. We'll keep our eyes peeled. Got a really good update recently. Flight tech visualization, sound pack, and better flight description. AFR, what is AFR? Very interesting, might get back into it. So air hauler 2 or self-loading cargo? Well, in terms of price, SLC is much more in reach. I guess also much more immersive for airliners, but wouldn't help much with GA flying. Although I guess it could also work with GA, as long as you can have passengers at the back, maybe it can still work. Should we maybe fast forward a bit, guys? Let me see here. Let's try out one of the features in Toliss. So we have here, where was it? Yeah, here, actions, jump to next waypoint. So that will make us jump to the next waypoint, which is Macox right here. So if I go and do that, there we are, new waypoint. So this is an alternative to increasing the time. It's just teleporting. And this is very nice. It's compatible with the pilot's life, so it doesn't like reset your progress if you teleport like this. It's good. Get food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Dish in case you're flying 2 hours plus. not monsters. What if you're in a budget airline? Do you also have to buy your own food? I hope not. Yeah, that's quite interesting if you're willing to share. How did your career go? How did it progress? I guess for the longer long haul, the how do you call it? Longer trips. 0.78 Mach. Yeah, people on business. I know I have a colleague who travels every 2 weeks or so from Europe to the US and sometimes even to Asia. So they do tend to get used to it. They learn tricks. So they're more or less immune to the jet lag now. I guess it's just a matter of getting used to. For me personally, I like going on business trips maybe once up to twice a year. Anything more can get quite taxing for me already. It's a real exhausting feeling. You know, it's great because you get to go to a different place, but it's also very tiring because you always have to be on your toes. Especially, usually we would go to a client's site, so you would have to be at your best, always professional and stuff like that. And you are in a very unfamiliar place, so on top of being on your toes professionally, you also have to explore more and learn about these things at the same time and focus on your job. So many things happening at once. And for me particularly, because I am in a technical role, I do my own designs, I code my own designs, I test them, I present them to the business and explain it to them. That is pretty close, my goodness. Cool though. So it's a bit tricky, and especially when I'm on a business trip, there is absolutely no chance. Like being in the same room as the client the entire day, and when they raise a defect, when there's a bug in the system, and if I have to fix it right there and then, like imagine the challenge of having to code something, needing like full concentration on what you're doing, and then at the same time having the client go right next to you and ask some questions. Like, oh, absolutely no chance of doing it. So yeah, it's when there are business trips like that, it has to be more on the socializing and managing the customer, less on the technical stuff. Same time zone in theory, yes. I'm not even sure how these, maybe you guys have more background on it, how these time zones have been decided, because ideally it's about your position in the, is it longitudinal or attitude, but your the columns, the, how do you say, on the x-axis, your position on the x-axis, right? But there are differences, like there are grooves around it, and I'm not sure how that gets decided. Like for Singapore, I think how it should be what, +7 instead of +8 if you only look at the coordinates. Jump to next waypoint.
Speedbird 408, you are off course. Turn right heading 213 to return to course.
No, I'm not.
Speedbird 408, contact Bordeaux Center on 121.25. Have a good morning.
121.25, Speedbird 408, good morning. Center, good morning. Speedbird 408 at flight level 3900.
Speedbird 408, good morning. Radar contact.
Singapore and West Malaysia is an hour faster than it should be because you follow the East Malaysian longitude. There you go, the longitude. Started old good turboprop AN26. Nice. And then Airbus. Cool. 7:30 during colonial times. Ah, I see. That's a hard thing to calculate. And you have that 30-minute difference. I hate that. Like India has like 2-hour 30 difference versus Singapore. I always have trouble calculating it. I still have those gaps in the thing. I thought that was fixed already. And it looks like we have blurry textures. We'll see if that gets changed as we go closer. Wow. It's been a wide range of time zones, huh? You have a backup crew. Bunk on the aircraft. Stay on location for a couple of days. Ah, I see. Ah, so you don't bring back the same plane. If you go to somewhere, you stay there because you're not the same guy who takes the same plane back to the origin. I see. Malaysia decided to follow Sabah and Sarawak. That's true. Yeah, that's what I heard. I wasn't so sure about it, but that's also what I heard. That it was something about businesses or doing business or the economy or something. Economical reasons maybe. Why do I have ugly shadows again? Maybe the parameters reset when I updated. Because we are now in beta 11. Must have overwritten the shadow parameters I set. Although some are okay. Oh crap, did I change? Normal, there you go. Yeah, that's why 6 AM here is still dark. I had so much of a strange time adjusting to that. It was so weird. Having the sunrise super late. It's harder to wake up. In the Philippines, around 5 AM, you would start seeing the sun already peeking out. Very nice. So even the sunset is late here. Well, I guess late is a very subjective term. Should be starting our descent there. How far away is that? Like 90 miles? 100 miles from now. So we should be able to accelerate more. Oh, we can't. You can only jump to the next waypoint when you are wings level. Right now we're banking a bit to the right, a few degrees. Let me see, let's plug in some stuff here. Airports, Valencia. So I can do a 15 Radial 110. I can do a few markers here. So we can do like a fix.
Speedbird 408 contact Bordeaux Center on 120.3 enjoy.
Say again, Speedbird 408.
Speedbird 408 contact Bordeaux Center on 120.3 enjoy.
120.3. Have a good morning, Speedbird 408. Center Speedbird 408, flight level 390.
Speedbird 408 good morning. Radar contact.
Yeah, I can imagine. Oh yeah, the Thrustmaster TCA side stick and quadrant. Yeah, I saw that. A lot of YouTubers released those previews. I think they got sponsored. Unfortunately, they didn't approach me. Not big enough for
Speedbird
that.
408 contact Barcelona
Come
control
on.
119.45 enjoy.
119.45. Speedbird 408. Speedbird 408 at flight level 390.
Speedbird 408 good morning. Radar contact.
Okay, let's set up that fix. Victor Lima Charlie. That's this one, 180 miles. It's pretty close. Let's go 15 miles away. So that would create like a radius. You should see from here. That circle right there. And then I think we can also set a radial for this one. 296. There's a quick trick on translating the 180 degrees of that, like +1, +2, +1 or -1 and then +2. Like 296 would be 176. No, I think that's wrong. Looks a bit wrong from there. Let's say 300 minus is 120, so that's like 116. So +2, always +2 here. So here it's plus or -2, so that's 1. And then the second digit, you do a +2 always, so it's 1 1 and then 6. I think it's 116. 110. So we can do that. Radial 116. So then we should get that kind of extended center line, that like that. So we have some more visual cues. Okay, looks good. Everything over 6 hours of flight time. Daily heavy duty is 14 hours. After 4 hours duty mandatory rest time, I see.
Speedbird 408 resume navigation.
Still have that flickering thing. Okay, almost at the top for descent. Let's have a look at the progress here. So we should be arriving at 8:11 UTC in game. In sim, that should be around 30 minutes from now. Cool. There we go, enter destination data. That's what I was expecting to happen now. So let's go and plug those in. QNH at the destination is 1017. Temperature is currently 21 degrees. Winds are 290 at 3 knots. Wow, cavalcade. Perfect weather. My goodness. Does that happen often? It's the first time I've gotten that in my flight. Something 400 here, decision altitude 440.
Speedbird 408, expect the SOAR 4 Charlie arrival with the SARA transition for the ILS approach to runway 30 with the Malat transition at Manassas after Rhymes cleared direct SARA.
It's too long to say. Let's let the guy say it back.
Expect the SOAR 4 Charlie arrival with the SARA transition for the ILS approach to runway 30 with the Malat transition after Rhymes cleared direct SARA. Speedbird 408.
Good. Almost there. I'm still not seeing any ortho photos though. Wonder where that starts. We also have some cracks still in between the tiles. It's a little bit weird. It was interesting. I was listening to an interview. I shared it in the Flight Sim channel in Discord. I was listening to an interview of Austin Meyer, the creator of Explain. He has a very nice vision for Explain, and he is not concerned with upcoming flights in 2020. Like he believes strongly in what they're doing and that they will be competitive even when flights in 2020 comes out. Hey Geek Squad, glad you made it. How have you been? Wow, so many nuances. Yeah, that's just like when driving a truck. So many different regulations, like how many hours you can drive a day, but at the same time consecutive hours you have to take like few minute breaks in between. That's what I hear from the truckers. Hey, Namaste. Welcome back. Nice. I hope it works out for you. European laws love nuances and exceptions. Yeah. I guess I can imagine the challenges. So many different scenarios, so it's almost impossible to do a one size fits all rule. I think in terms of the air traffic control, they're going to make us start our descent earlier, like a minute from now. Because normally here top of descent is still 7:48, which is around 3 minutes. That's fine, a little bit earlier. They'll probably they'll probably give us altitude restrictions here. Cross altitude at a certain
Speedbird
waypoint.
408, descend to cross SARA at flight level 230, then descend via the SOAR 4 Charlie arrival with the SARA transition to 2,500 feet. QNH is 1017 at Manassas.
230.
Will cross SARA at flight level 230, then descend via the SOAR 4 Charlie arrival with the SARA transition to 2,500 feet. QNH is 1017. Speedbird 408.
So that didn't really change our top of descent. I think it's mostly still the same. Yeah. The original plan is we get there. Actually, alright, I think it's starting to adjust bit by bit. Still orange here, that means we won't be able to adhere to the restriction that we put in, 230. We are a bit low by that point already, but I think it will, yeah, it's starting to adjust it. Starting to recalculate stuff, I guess. Your driving pro mods paying ETS2. Oh, that's beautiful. Cannot wait for Iberia DLC. So nice. Yeah, I guess it won't be as detailed, but it will have so many other sites. But I don't think the highways will, and the cities will be that complex, because I don't think they can. It will be too frame heavy. It's for low auto brakes here. Don't forget. When we get to around 5 miles away from point of descent, I will start descending. We've been cleared all the way to 2,500 feet via the arrival. Good. Yeah, Idaho. I would expect it soon, but maybe not that soon yet. Oh, we still have that bug. It's beta 11 already. We still have that flickering thing. So weird. I wonder what triggers that. So weird. Let's go ahead and start tuning in the frequencies here. Probably pass us on to approach frequency soon. Actually not telling us. Maybe here. Approach. Oh, we have two choices. Okay, we'll worry about that later. It's okay, we'll make it. Alright, that looks good. It actually was a bit late already. It's fine. Start our descent. Love the sounds. We don't even have the BSS sound pack yet. Let's go and check the constraints here. Still not magenta. The restriction at Sora. Almost there though. Flight level 230. Company should do that. I see. So it's a bit of a two-step verification thing. The company will do its best, but you'll have to check those yourself as well. Yeah. What is the transition altitude? I think it's by ATC, but yeah. It did clear us already, but I'm not sure if it's safe already to switch as early as this point. Maybe later. the landing scales. What is that? Oh, there should be land there. Invisible land. Let's see if that problem occurs even in external view. Yeah, seems like it's present everywhere, huh? Oh, finally we're getting a bit of clouds. Better late than never. Yeah, the other day the UK was filled with the clouds. Literal cloud cover, which is I think a common thing. Gray skies and everything. But maybe in summer it's not as common? I don't know. Or should it even be more so? Oh, there you go. Now it's rendered in. I guess it was a distance thing? Maybe. I imagine driving through the roads there. Pro Mod Spain. As much as I'm excited for Pro Mod Spain, I'm a bit scared because yes, I mean Iberia DLC. As much as I'm excited, I'm a bit scared because Pro Mods did an awesome job at Spain. And I'm not sure if SES will... They're great at mapping, but they have certain restrictions. They can't put too much detail because they have to make it compatible with other less powerful PCs. So we'll see what they come up with. But first, Idaho. Not sure how when Idaho will come out. I'm expecting by the end of 138. Or near the end of 138, that's usually how it happened. But if you get it earlier, then that's even better. 2 counters. Total hours in duty. And then second limit is flight time per day, week, or month and year. I see. Even if you're on the ground and not paid, your time limits are running? Oh wow. Because you're still on duty then, just waiting. I see. Are we there yet? AV, almost there. How many miles away? Let's have a look. 82 miles away. Is that the right one? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I've started our descent though. So it should be like 20 minutes from now. In case you're Russian based, Russian restriction on supply, even if you fly like Russia, China, Singapore. Ah, even the China-Singapore leg. Interesting. Let's turn on the seatbelt signs in case I forget. 3 a.m. walk, wow. Does your dog often like those late night walks? Middle of the night walks? I would be sleeping soundly by then. There you go. Sora has become magenta now. Looks like the FMC has adjusted perfectly. 230 at Sora. Nice. 138 video. No problem. 138 updates are generally very nice. It's just a bit underwhelming if you expected a few things. And I did because of what they announced before. If they didn't make that announcement, I'm probably just super happy. Now I'm happy but a bit underwhelmed. Because I was expecting a lot more graphical improvements in 138. Like how they introduced sound improvements in 137. Doesn't like the heat so much. Ah, I see. Two of your 4 cats came with you. That's so nice. Having pets is really something. I would like to get a dog eventually. If we can like get ourselves settled. Because right now every year is a question mark where we are staying. Because we have not gotten that permanent residency in Singapore yet. So it's a bit unstable. When we finally get a chance to settle down and plant our roots, think about starting a family and getting a dog. Iveco sounds, oh, definitely agree. Yes. Yeah. I don't normally drive Ivecos, but thanks to Krishman, I'm happy driving it now. Your dog is called Chewy, and he's a Shih Tzu. Perfect name. Best friend is our youngest cat called George. They play all the time. George and Chewy, huh? Sounds like a good combo. Reworked the entire ATS base game. Yeah. Stuffed toys while you drive your truck. Works for me. Thanks, yeah. And especially with these times, I'm not sure if it's going to be harder or easier. Some people say one thing and some people say the other, but no one knows really. So the thing is just to try. Let me double check. Should be ILS should be 110.1 frequency. India Victor Charlie, that is automatically tracked already. Amazing Airbus stuff. Everything is automated. I mean the VORs being tracked or updated. Too late for that, Arianas. Everyone in town in the coffee shop loves him. Oh, I'm sure.
Speedbird 408 contact Valencia approach on 118.8. Have a good morning.
118.8. Good morning, Speedbird 408. Approach Speedbird 408, descending 2,500 feet.
Speedbird 408, good morning. Radar contact. Continue descent via the SAW 4 Charlie arrival. For the ILS approach to runway 30 with the Mulat transition at Manises.
Continue descent via the SAW 4 Charlie arrival for the ILS approach to runway 30 with the Mulat transition Speedbird 408.
Tightened PR citizenship slots after people were unhappy almost voted them out in 2011. Yeah. Yes, it has become so much tighter since then. Hopefully they'll loosen restrictions. Some say it will be loosened because we need to step the economy back up. But then on the other side, Singaporeans need more jobs. So, I don't know. Yeah, Chewy. Got it. Hey Fro, belated happy birthday. How did you celebrate? And welcome to the stream. Little glowing lightsaber on his collar, so cool. Peace in your world. Chewie is a Jedi. That's nice, man. Cool. still not getting any ortho photos. Maybe it's not in this region, or maybe I deleted it already. My goodness, it's a shame. 3 of the cats were here before we got the dog and 1 after. Nice. Must be so cool living with lots of pets. Community of Valencia. Is it that one? Not too shabby. Why am I still... Oh, I love those sounds. Can you hear it? The speed brakes getting deployed, slowing us down, and then you see this like very subtle shaking of the cab. Cool. Nice. Make sure we are not going beyond the speed limit here. Switch to local altimeter 1017. We have been cleared beforehand anyway. Autonomous communities, Catalonia, Aragon, and Valencia. City of Valencia has the same name as the region. Ah, I see. What does it mean to have autonomous communities? Is that like your own state? $10,000 feet. Maybe I didn't need the speed brakes. That looks like I did though. Yes.
Speedbird 408 QNH is 1017 cleared for the ILS approach to runway 30 with the Mulat transition at Manises.
QNH is 1017 cleared for the ILS approach to runway 30 with the Mulat transition. Speedbird 408.
I would think that I am open-minded. I guess it depends. Didn't say what color of the lightsaber was though. Oh yeah. Certain freedoms like their own language and education. Ah. Starting to see some buildings there. This is not bad for non-ortho photo scenery. Or is that ortho photos already? It looks like SFD. Okay, anything we missed so far? We started our approach very early, interestingly enough. Here's the port. Very flat looking, not scenic at all. You need more plugins to make this very nice. But I think those might be custom autogen European buildings. Looks good.
Contact 1 with the Alpha Roger, contact Tower 118.305 bound.
18305, contact Alpha 5, good day.
The landing slots at Changi Airport was delayed. What does that mean? And the plane went halfway to Kuala Lumpur. Ah, okay. So their slot wasn't available. I experienced it one time. For one reason or another, we got delayed. So we were in a holding pattern, literally going in circles in the air. I think that was when I traveled from Guangzhou to back to Singapore. We were, I think, doing that holding pattern for like 30 minutes. That looks good enough. I think flaps 1 sounds like a good idea. Speed check, we are good. Sus. We have been cleared for the ILS, so 2200. Let me check. Tower frequency is 118,550. Let me start that already, so we just need to switch later. See that shaking. Love it.
Speedbird 408 QNH is 1017 at Manus's contact tower on 118.55. Have a nice day.
Perfect.
QNH is 1017 tower on 118.55 Speedbird 408.
Tower Speedbird 408 inbound for the ILS approach to runway 30.
Speedbird 408, good morning. Radar contact. Continue ILS to runway 30, call when established on final.
Continue ILS to runway 30, will call when established on final. Speedbird 408.
Speedbird 408, winds are 300 at 5 knots, cleared to land runway 30.
Okay, thank you. Clear to land runway 30, Speedbird 408.
Speedbird 408, winds are 300 at 5 knots, cleared to land runway 30.
Clear to land runway 30, Speedbird 408. Looks good. Should I get ready with the clip button? Yes, I think you should. Told you guys, Rusty is currently my middle name. Clumsy Rusty Geek. Weather looks good though. We have pretty nice headwind. Shouldn't be too sharp, so we don't need to deal with any crosswinds mostly. What is the mist altitude? Mist altitude 4,000. Alright, I'll set it to 4,000 later. That looks good. Alright, 2,500 feet. And holding.
2,500.
Thank you. Oh, love it. I love how the bank angle, the cabin moves to the bank angle. Just looks so natural. Turn on the lights in case I forget. Looking good. Localizer, capture that one. Glide slope. Let's capture the glide slope as well. That should be happening soon. There we go. We are established on the ILS. There we go. Flaps 2. Landing gear down. Oh, that's very nice actually, these buildings. Love it. Speed check, flaps 3. Full flaps, speed check. Looks good. For when rusty is good enough. Oh man, that looks lovely. We'll need to replay this later. Cabin check. Thank goodness for that checklist, because we forgot to arm the speed brakes. There we go. Alright. You have a standardized base salary plus per hour payment. Quite a bonus over industry standard. Oh. Paid for every hour started, but not by exact flight time as is standard. Ah, every hour. I see. So you have like a base pay and something like per hour basis to an effect. Yes. Seatbelt sign is right here. Although right now it doesn't really have any purpose, but there are plugins like what Ariana's recommended, that self-loading cargo. Autopilot off, we're on our own. Looks good. Just do very subtle adjustments. Low.
$500.
Too low. There you go.
400.
Catch back up to it. Looks good.
300.
Yeah, the self-loading cargo has more immersion in terms of interacting with the passengers.
200. $100.
Looks good.
50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 10. 5.
That's not bad.
Speedbird 408 exit runway when able.
Take it. Reversers on. Speed brakes deployed. I thought that would have been better. I thought that was smoother. But that's fine. Reversers to idle. Reversers off. Manual braking. And let's just flow through. I love how the cab shakes as you slow down and as you touch down on the ground. Looking good. Flaps up. Retract the landing lights. Clear of active. Speedbird 408.
Speedbird 408 contact ground on 121.87. Enjoy your morning.
Where is the airport? Let's just stay here for now. Not worth clipping, was too good. Thankfully we had good weather, so it was not that much of an additional challenge. Oh, I forgot to set the missed altitude to 4,000 feet. My bad. Where are we headed? Normally we would ask ground to tell us where we go, but for now I guess we just turn right and find a parking slot there. We can handle this on our own. We can let go of the ATC. Let's close that. Let's just taxi manually. What is AVS plugin? Oh my goodness, so many plugins. Love it. Highway looks tiny. Reserve in most FO positions are paid just by flight time without base. Ah, I see. Depends on the airline. Makes sense. Air France is heavily socialized. So your base salary exceeds the flight time based salary. Wow. Yeah, I can imagine. Each one would have their different implementation for it. Start the EPU. There's the tower. See some planes parked. I see a Ryanair mark. They must be pretty proud of me. Oh, that's pretty fast, this one. Let's take a look at the replay in a bit. Flap is open. Start it up. To look for a parking. Is there something with oh, I forgot the term again. Jet bridge. Oh, I love that clanking. So good. Let go. Speed brakes. Disarm. Bit too fast there. Hey Sheng. Yeah, face mask. How have you been, man? How's the workload currently? Getting less cases now. Stay seated until we arrive at the gate. APU is available, that's good. I think we can park here. We can actually turn engine 2 off already, supposedly. Oh yeah, forgot my turn. My bad. Well, I guess we'll just have to adjust a bit. Not the best parking. That's okay, I think. And this is a default X-plane airport, so no guidance, autogate or anything. Looks good. Parking brake. Turn off the lights. And let's go and turn off engine 1. And that is done. We got 10 XP there from pilot to 80s, from a pilot's life. It says less than 50 feet per minute landing. I'll take that more than 200. No. Maybe I bounced a little. How are we here? Yeah, actually the temperature of the tires aren't bad because we were only using low auto brakes. Very nice. Good. I won't go through the entire sequence procedure for shutting down the plane. Instead, let's go and watch the replay. Overspeeded taxi. No one look. No one look. What are the speeds normally? I normally try to stay within 25 knots, but I never got a definitive answer there. Does it vary per place, I imagine? Cases spiking in your area, oh my goodness. Stay safe, man. It's exponential growth, oh my goodness. Stay safe, I thought it was dying down already. Hope everything goes well. Let's go and watch this from inside maybe. A bit more scenic.
2000.
There is a speed check. There is a speed limit. I'm not sure how they can detect when someone is going over the limit. It does happen. Oh, beautiful buildings there. Very Spanish looking. Where was that? I think that was in Barcelona though. The super like grid-like buildings like this. But everything was in a perfect grid. Looked so clean. APL counts front wheel landing rate, so that's the reason we have a small one. Ah, I see. Interesting. Should it count the front wheel landing? I guess that's to my advantage. Face mask for 3 hours. I see. Yeah, true. Barcelona is a perfect grid. That's the one. Yeah. Air Baltic seems like a pretty nice company. I think, yeah, from what I remember, Janus, you even got salary even during the COVID times, right? Even during the lockdown, when you didn't have any flights. It's like government subsidized or something. Depends on airport. Max 30 knots is specified by IATA. I see. Okay. So within 30 knots I should be fine generally. Let's do this multiple times. Let's see how this landing works. Maybe this one would be better. Which view do you guys like better as the first view? Hey Rox, welcome back. How have you been? Itching to drive on that road system. Yeah, 25 knots per on daytime and 20 knots at nighttime. Makes sense. I think I floated a bit. Not perfectly in the touchdown zone, but should be okay. Not too bad, I guess. That was actually super smooth. Even the XPRealistic didn't shake so much. Normally the shake is pretty significant. I love the constant shaking. Very nice. Let's do that again on this side. Oh, wrong button. Dang it. I can do that. There you go. Thanks to Vulkan, going backward and forward in a replay is so much more manageable now. Almost no stutters. That is so smooth. Very nice European buildings there. Yeah, just don't look at the roads. The roads are a monstrosity. Of the Rail Valley, oh yes, I'll record one soon. Record one for this week. We'll see what we can come up with. And once we do this part, we'll then do an external view. Nice. The rail is great to watch. That's great to hear. We'll do that soon. Cinematic like that. Not too shabby. For a rusty guy, that's not bad. Thank goodness the weather cooperated. I'll take a photo somewhere here probably. So that's probably what a pilot's life detected, that no-squeal landing. Lucky you. Oh, that looks so good. This is with reshade though. If I turn off reshade, looks like that, a bit more washed out. With reshade, I just adjusted the brightness contrast a bit. And now thinking about it, I actually could have done that in NVIDIA Freestyle instead. Maybe it's easier. Like a open-minded chill guy compared to Singaporeans. Maybe it's my exposure to different cultures also. Could be. That's part of the reason you prefer to settle down somewhere else. Yeah, I guess there's a bit of... I guess it's a double-edged sword. Singaporeans are very... How do you say? In general, I would say they have very high standards. Which is good. Because it pushes the boundaries. Makes everyone excel. Although I guess in some cases that can also lead to lower tolerance for things. So it looks like the speed brakes only retract when you disarm them, and not even if you brake. I think in the 737 they automatically retract when you start braking manually, if I remember correctly. A320 or Zibo 737? Hey Pop, that's a good question. Before, definitely the A321 by Toliss, but recently Zibo had an update where the VRAM consumption was reduced by 40%. So everyone was reporting humongous frame increase. So now I think it would be the same, or maybe even the Zibo would perform better. Somewhere very close, I think, is how it looks now. It is clean. It is quite clean. Yes, I got in the big diesel. I've done an episode with that big diesel. I did a trip with it. It's nice. Just not as exciting as driving a steam train though. Right. I think let's look for that perfect photo and then we'll call it a stream. What do you guys think? Look at how smooth that is. Goodness, we might not be getting 60 frames. It's only 30, but it's smooth 30, no stutters, and that's oftentimes the more important thing. Like even if I like rewind to this point, just immediately appears. So good. Vulkan is so good. And the laminar guys really did a good job here. I think I would like somewhere with the airport in the background. That one. Thanks to cleaners mostly. So let's take a photo somewhere. Like maybe get closer, field of view narrower. Where's the tower? There it is. Not very scenic though, is it? Well, I guess we could do something. Well, that could work. Very challenging. Well, that's one way, one screenshot we can do. Take time to ingrain a culture. Yeah. Are they not as open? I see. Yeah, I don't have any issues with it personally. I mean, my religion, I am Christian, so if I follow the Bible exactly, it's going to be a bit of conflict there, but yeah, for me personally, I have no issues with that. Love seeing those buildings from afar like that. That can work also. Remove cleaners. So it's not really part of the culture to clean up after yourselves. It's more cleaners paved the way, made it possible. That looks cool. We can do something with that. Maybe. Photo taking class. Let's take as many screenshots as we can. Southern England. I've never been anywhere in the UK. Requires a separate visa from Schengen. Okay. I think that's the last one, this one. Oh, let's do one more sequence before we end. I like this view. One sec. Let me show you. So this one, if I do something like this, it's so cool. Like a GoPro somewhere behind the plane. So nice. Something like that maybe. Super dramatic shot. Like almost GTA levels. Fast and the Furious levels. Normally I would have touched down there. Here, where did I touch down? The second. It's not bad. Oh, I love it. Suspension there as the landing gear touches the ground. Lovely. That's very true. It would take a very powerful GoPro to survive this. Cleaning up after yourself is getting better. That's good to hear. It's more work. Route map before COVID. You see that. Wow, from Riga to everywhere. Barcelona, Madrid. More than 60 destinations in Europe, Central Asia, and Middle East. Nice. Awesome. Alright guys, I think we will call it there. Thanks for hanging out with me. We actually finished the flight. Minimal teleportations, minimal fast forwarding, and that was a pretty good landing. I got lucky, I must say. The rust didn't become so apparent. Yeah, everything is urbanized. What I like in Singapore is even if it's very urban, there's still so much green everywhere. Parks, forests. It's like so much green compared to what I would have expected. Would have expected just full of buildings and everything. That's from an outsider's point of view. I like the balance. Alright, yes, see you on Friday. We'll go trucking on Friday. Have a good day, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with me. And thanks for the very interesting discussions. Thanks for telling us about your pilot life. Real pilot life, Rihanna's. Have a good day, everyone. Have a good night. Catch you next time. Catch you on Discord in the meantime. And yes, you made it. Thanks and clumsy flying.